Question 1. Scenario. Microsoft Defender for Cloud Apps generates an alert for impossible travel activity when a user signs into a SaaS application from two geographically distant locations within a short time frame. The question is, what should the analyst check first to validate whether this is a true positive? Your options are: Option A, whether the user is using a VPN, and correlate sign-in IP addresses and device compliance state in Entra-ID sign-in logs. Option B, the user's mailbox storage quota. Option C, whether an RSA rule is in audit mode. Option D, the organization's DLP policy count. Take a moment to think about your answer. The correct answer is A, whether the user is using a VPN, and correlate sign-in IP addresses and device compliance state in Entra-ID sign-in logs. Why A is correct. Impossible travel alerts are commonly false positives due to VPN usage. Analysts should correlate sign-in IPs, device compliance, and known VPN egress points in Entra-ID sign-in logs to determine if the travel pattern is legitimate or indicates account compromise. Why B is wrong. Mailbox storage quota has no relevance to validating a geographic anomaly in sign-in activity. Why C is wrong. RSA rule mode is an endpoint protection setting unrelated to cloud app sign-in anomalies. Why D is wrong. DLP policy count does not help validate whether an impossible travel sign-in is a true or false positive. Question 2. Scenario. Defender for Cloud Apps detects that a user downloaded an unusually large volume of files from SharePoint Online in a short period, followed immediately by the user's account being disabled in an HR-driven offboarding process. The question is, what is the most likely conclusion and appropriate action? Your options are: Option A, this is normal behavior. No action is needed. Option B, immediately re-enable the account so the user can continue working. Option C, this pattern suggests potential data exfiltration before departure. Investigate downloaded files, notify HR, legal, and review sharing, consent grants. Option D, reset the Wi-Fi password across the organization. Take a moment to think about your answer. The correct answer is C. This pattern suggests potential data exfiltration before departure. Investigate downloaded files, notify HR, legal, and review sharing, consent grants. Why C is correct. Mass downloads shortly before offboarding is a classic insider risk, data exfiltration pattern. The analyst should investigate what was downloaded, coordinate with HR, legal, and check for any external sharing or app consent that could allow continued access to the data. Why A is wrong. This is a known high-risk pattern, departing employee mass download, and should never be dismissed without investigation. Why B is wrong. Re-enabling the account without investigation could allow further exfiltration or destruction of evidence. Why D is wrong. Resetting Wi-Fi passwords org-wide is unrelated and disruptive. It does not address the specific exfiltration risk. Question 3. Scenario. An analyst wants to automatically suspend a user's session and require step-up authentication in real time when Defender for Cloud Apps detects an attempt to download sensitive files from an unmanaged device. The question is, what should the analyst configure? Your options are: Option A, a DLP policy in Exchange Online only. Option B, a Defender for Endpoint RSA rule. Option C, a Sentinel Scheduled Analytics rule. Option D, conditional access app control session policies in Defender for Cloud Apps. Take a moment to think about your answer. The correct answer is D, conditional access app control session policies in Defender for Cloud Apps. Why D is correct. Conditional access app control, via Defender for Cloud Apps proxy, enables real-time session policies that can block or limit actions like downloads, and enforce step-up authentication, based on device compliance and risk signals. Why A is wrong. A DLP policy scoped only to exchange online would not control real-time session behavior for SharePoint, other app downloads. Why B is wrong. RSA rules are endpoint-level malware mitigation controls, not session-based cloud app access controls. Why C is wrong. Sentinel Analytics rules detect and alert on ingested data. They do not enforce real-time session blocking. Question 4. Scenario. Microsoft Entra ID protection flags a user's account as high risk due to detection of leaked credentials found in a known breach dataset, and the user has not yet been prompted for remediation. The question is, what is the recommended immediate action for the SOC analyst? Your options are: Option A, ignore the risk since leaked credential detections are always false positives. Option B, confirm the risk in Entra ID protection, force a password reset, require MFA registration, and review recent sign-in activity for that account. Option C, delete the user account permanently. Option D, grant the user global administrator to allow him to fix it themselves. Take a moment to think about your answer. The correct answer is B, confirm the risk in Entra ID protection, force a password reset, require MFA registration, and review recent sign-in activity for that account. Why B is correct. Leaked credentials risk should be treated seriously. Analysts should confirm the risk detection, remediate by forcing a secure password reset and MFA, and review recent sign-ins to detect any actual malicious use of the compromised credentials. Why A is wrong. Leaked credential detections come from real breach corpuses correlated to the tenant's users and should not be dismissed by default. Why C is wrong. Deleting the account is excessive and destroys the ability to investigate whether the account was actually misused. Why D is wrong. Granting global administrator to a potentially compromised account massively increases risk rather than mitigating it. Question 5. Scenario. You want Microsoft Entra ID protection to automatically require a secure password change when a user's risk level is evaluated as high, without requiring manual SOC intervention for every case. The question is, what should you configure? Your options are: Option A, a user risk-based conditional access policy requiring password change when risk is high. Option B, a Sentinel automation rule tagging the incident. Option C, an RSA rule blocking credential theft. Option D, a Defender for Cloud Apps app governance policy. Take a moment to think about your answer. The correct answer is A, a user risk-based conditional access policy requiring password change when risk is high. Why A is correct. A conditional access policy based on Entra ID protection user risk can automatically require a secure password change, or block access, when risk reaches a defined threshold like high, enabling automated remediation without manual analyst action for every case. Why B is wrong. A Sentinel automation rule only tags, manages incidents. It cannot enforce an Entra ID sign-in, access control requirement. Why C is wrong. RSA rules mitigate endpoint attack techniques and have no relation to Entra ID risk-based access policies. Why D is wrong. App governance policies in Defender for Cloud Apps govern OAuth app behavior, not user risk-based password reset enforcement. Question 6. Scenario. Microsoft Defender for Identity generates an alert for suspected DCSYNC attack, originating from a non-domain controller server account attempting to replicate Active Directory data. The question is, what does this alert typically indicate, and what should the analyst do? Your options are: Option A, this is a routine group policy update and can be dismissed. Option B, this indicates a printer driver issue. Restart the print spooler. Option C, this indicates a likely attempt to extract credential hashes, e.g., via Mimikatz, from Active Directory. isolate the source, investigate the account's permissions, and reset compromised credentials. Option D. This indicates normal Exchange Online mail flow. Take a moment to think about your answer. The correct answer is C. This indicates a likely attempt to extract credential hashes, e.g., via Mimikatz, from Active Directory, isolate the source, investigate the account's permissions, and reset compromised credentials. Why C is correct? DCSYNC is a well-known technique, used by tools like Mimikatz, to impersonate a domain controller and replicate password hashes from Active Directory. This is a high-severity indicator of compromise requiring immediate isolation of the source and credential remediation. Why A is wrong? DCSYNC is not a routine administrative operation. It is a recognized credential theft technique and should be treated as high priority. Why B is wrong? This alert has nothing to do with print services. Misdiagnosing it delays proper incident response. Why D is wrong? DCSYNC activity is unrelated to Exchange Online mail flow. Dismissing it this way would miss an active AD attack. Question 7. Scenario. An analyst investigating a defender for identity alert for reconnaissance using directory services queries wants to understand which specific accounts and groups were enumerated by the suspicious source computer. The question is, where should the analyst look for this detail? Your options are: Option A, Microsoft Purview retention labels. Option B, the alert's evidence and activity details within Defender for Identity, Defender XDR, including the source computer and queried objects. Option C, Attack Surface Reduction Rule reports. Option D, Sentinel Workbook for Cost Management. Take a moment to think about your answer. The correct answer is B, the alert's evidence and activity details within Defender for Identity, Defender XDR, including the source computer and queried objects. Why B is correct? Defender for Identity alerts include detailed evidence such as the source computer, account used, and the specific directory objects, accounts queried, which is surfaced in the alert details within Defender XDR for investigation. Why A is wrong? Retention labels are a Purview information protection feature, unrelated to directory reconnaissance investigation. Why C is wrong? RSA rule reports track endpoint attack surface reduction events, not AD reconnaissance query details. Why D is wrong? A cost management workbook tracks ingestion spend, entirely unrelated to identity attack investigation. Question 8. Scenario. A Defender for Identity alert indicates suspected golden ticket usage associated with a service account that normally only accesses a single file server. The question is, what is the most appropriate immediate response? Your options are: Option A, take no action since golden ticket alerts are always benign. Option B, only monitor the account for another 30 days before acting. Option C, rename the service account. Option D, treat as a critical incident. Investigate ticket granting activity, reset the KRBTGT account password twice, per Microsoft guidance, and reset affected credentials. Take a moment to think about your answer. The correct answer is D, treat as a critical incident. Investigate ticket granting activity, reset the KRBTGT account password twice, per Microsoft guidance, and reset affected credentials. Why D is correct? A golden ticket attack indicates an attacker has forged Kerberos TGTs using the KRBTGT account hash, granting potentially domain-wide access. This is critical and requires resetting the KRBTGT password twice, per Microsoft's guidance, along with broader credential remediation. Why A is wrong? Golden ticket detections represent one of the most severe Active Directory compromise techniques and must never be dismissed. Why B is wrong? Waiting 30 days while an attacker potentially has domain-wide forged ticket access is an unacceptable delay for a critical alert. Why C is wrong. Simply renaming the service account does not invalidate forged Kerberos tickets or address the underlying KRBTGT compromise. Question 9. Scenario. Your SOC needs a unified view correlating a suspicious sign-in from Entra ID protection, a related lateral movement alert from Defender for Identity, and a malware detection from Defender for Endpoint, all tied to the same compromised user and device. The question is, where should the analyst go to see these correlated signals as a single incident? Your options are: Option A, the Unified Incident View in Microsoft Defender XDR. Option B, 3 separate portals reviewed independently with no correlation. Option C, Microsoft Purview Compliance Manager. Option D, Azure Cost Management. Take a moment to think about your answer. The correct answer is A, the Unified Incident View in Microsoft Defender XDR. Why A is correct? Microsoft Defender XDR automatically correlates related alerts from Entra ID protection, Defender for Identity, Defender for Endpoint, and other Defender products that share common entities, user, device, into a single unified incident for holistic investigation. Why B is wrong? Reviewing portals independently loses the correlation and cross-product context that Defender XDR provides automatically. Why C is wrong? Compliance Manager tracks regulatory compliance score, not security incident correlation. Why D is wrong? Cost Management tracks Azure spending and has no relevance to security incident investigation. Question 10. Scenario. During investigation of a compromised identity incident, the analyst needs to determine every resource, SharePoint sites, Teams, Azure resources, the compromised account had access to scope the blast radius. The question is, which combination of tools would best help determine this access scope? Your options are: Option A, Attack Surface Reduction Rule Reports only. Option B, Microsoft Purview Retention Policies only. Option C, Entra ID Group Memberships, Role Assignments, Defender for Cloud Apps Activity Logs, and the Sentinel, Defender XDR Hunting Graph for Entity Relationships. Option D, the Exchange Online Message Trace Tool only. Take a moment to think about your answer. The correct answer is C, Entra ID Group Memberships, Role Assignments, Defender for Cloud Apps Activity Logs, and the Sentinel, Defender XDR Hunting Graph for Entity Relationships. Why C is correct? Determining blast radius requires correlating identity group, role memberships, Entra ID, actual resource access activity, Defender for Cloud Apps, and visualized entity relationships, hunting graph, to comprehensively scope what the compromised account could access and did access. Why A is wrong? ASA rule reports relate to endpoint malware mitigation, not identity access scope across cloud resources. Why B is wrong? Retention policies govern data lifecycle, not what resources a compromised identity had access to. Why D is wrong? Message trace only shows email delivery paths, missing SharePoint, Teams, and Azure resource access entirely. Quiz complete. You have reviewed all questions and their full explanations. Great work. Please like and subscribe my channel for more such contents.